This is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker up on TSN 4, streaming live on YouTube Live up on TSN's YouTube channel. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan.
What's going on?
What's going on?
There he is, baseball guy. You did exactly what I told you not to do.
The good luck charm all of a sudden.
Oh, wow. I mean, did the fanny pack get down there to the ballpark?
Did
or
not.
Just went suit?
No fanny pack. Again, the fanny pack was because I was in the seats during the game and then working afterwards. Here I was the press box guy. I was right in there.
But I
Pure
told
journalism.
you the chemistry with Hedge and Keegan, and I was like, just leave those guys alone.
Yeah.
And
I thought I contributed to that personally.
You did.
Now, Hedge and Keegan are superstars. They are phenomenal at what they do, and they were outstanding. Like always, there I am, just right in there with pictures.
Keegan's a big dude. Like, you're a tall guy, Brian. He's taller than you?
Oh yeah, he's a nose tackle, dude. Like
Really?
Keegan would destroy people. Like you try to get a running back through the line, and Keegan Matheson is waiting for him. That guy's not going anywhere.
Wow.
That guy is losing yardage.
people left him alone at bar fights. He was just solo.
Yes.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. And, that was night one. That was game one. Game two yesterday, I made a big mistake because I think it was last week I was talking about running shoes with suits, right? And I made that big deal. I'm like, nah, I shouldn't be doing it anymore. I wore running shoes with the suit, posted a picture, and people are just destroying me for that. Because it's hypocritical. It's pure hypocrisy.
It really
Let me
is.
get this straight. You chirped running shoes with a suit and then did it?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Was it a classic like white running shoe, or it was one of those like sporty kind of brown leather? You know the ones I'm talking about. I've seen you wear them.
Exactly that.
Or the Gary Bettman black, right? Gary Bettman wears black, like kind of.
He will wear black on black, though. Like Gary will wear a black on a black sole. Right. I had one of those kind of stylish black leather with a white sole, which is not nearly as crazy as wearing like Jordans or an Air Force One or something like that. You know, I wasn't rocking those. I was rocking somewhat stylish running shoes, though, sneakers, so to speak, and pure hypocrisy, and I got called out for it, and somewhat, I guess, deservedly so. I did it to myself. I posted it on my own Instagram account, but I almost didn't make it past game one because I almost had a moment. So I was going full journalist down there, right?
Yes.
In the press box, and I'm following Hedge and Keegan around, right? It's their show, and I'm a third wheel. I'm third wheeling it, and Hedge and Keegan, being the professionals that they are, they're like, well, we're going down to the interview room after the game. Like, all right, perfect. I'll go down with you. And I'm sitting in the interview room, and the way it works is the losing team, their manager comes out. No players come out, only the manager, and that manager comes out first. So it's Aaron Boone. Yeah. So Boone comes out, and the Jays just destroyed them, like embarrassed them in game one and game two, clearly. But in game one, it was just an awful first impression. And the New York media is absolutely picking him apart. Okay? Why you do this? What happened here? What was that? Why? And I feel a sneeze coming on.
Oh, no.
And I am an obnoxious sneezer and a serial sneezer.
Yeah, it could be 10 in a row.
It could be 10 in a row. And I'm fighting this sneeze. I'm having an aneurysm, and Hedge is beside me, and I think she's picking up on the energy because I looked over, and I think she was looking at me like, dude, what is your problem? Because Boone is talking this out with the New York media and the national media. Fox is there. Yes, everybody's there. It's the Yankees losing game one in the ALDS. And I am blowing my neck out trying to fight a sneeze, thinking if I start sneezing here, Boone's going to look at me and say, are you new? Like, are you on drugs? Get out of here. And I would have had my, credentials revoked.
Dude, I'm a sneezer, too. And the worst thing is if you try to, like, if you try to let it happen but stop it at the same time, like plug your nose or something, or just flat out stop, you'll have a mess on your hands.
Yes.
Like you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like if you just try to stop it, you got a serious problem.
It'll come out the other end. I'm telling you, just sneeze and move on. Like I'm in some of those scrums in the morning and that, but you're right. I'm a little bit more comfortable in a hockey scrum than I am, in a baseball scrum or something like that. That it's kind of out of your wheelhouse, Brian. You'd be fine if you were, if you're in the relief scrum and you're standing beside Jonas, you could cough on his head. You'd be fine.
Maybe, but this is the podium room. This is the interview room with the Yankees and Boone, and the Yankees just got pumped.
And
That's
you're not
true.
there ever.
And that's another thing. Like, it's pretty clear. Like, here I am. I'm rolling it. I'm sneeze guy, right?
Yeah.
Ruining the whole rhythm of the whole process. So, if you're seeing me struggle today, it's because I can't look left because I basically blew my neck out trying to fight a sneeze. But what a scene. I mean, what a scene. And you're right. I mean, all of a sudden, I'm the good luck guy, right? Yep. I'm the good luck guy. I'm down there. And, I can't even express what the whole experience was like over 2 days. Like, the build-up, the vibe downtown, the weather was so perfect. And that factors in. Like, and I think the rest of the country would hear this or look at this and probably with some jealousy or not quite understand it. But it's October, and it was 25 degrees and blue skies and perfect. Like, it was the most perfect weather. Downtown was so electric. And the crowd over 2 nights, it was waves of excitement and partying and intensity, but intensity that was channeled properly. They were on the Yankees. They were rooting for the Jays. The team showed up and supplied them with the 2 greatest games you could ever experience in your life if you're there to watch a playoff game.
It's almost like somebody in ops or something was saying, we got to do this and we got to have everything set up. Mm-hmm. And if the players in the team could actually go out there and blow them out in game 1 and in game 2, everything would be perfect. You can't, Vladdy started it off with the homer, and then it was just a smoke show both games. And then the Yesavage performance, the Gosman performance, the Grand Slam, Varsho. Like, it was just, I don't know. You can't get it any better than that as far as what you wanted. Especially, I think you brought it up yesterday, Hayes, like the Toronto sports fan in playoffs, the anxiety that they have. Oh, my word. Like, this is not just – like, they usually win game 1, and then all of a sudden something really stupid or bad happens in game 2 where everybody's like, man, this is gonna end ugly. But it just kept going and snowballing, and they absolutely kicked their asses, man. There was a little bit of it, like anxiety yesterday, where you're like, it got to. Well, they put 7 up, and you're like, man, this could get. But that's it. They killed them both games. It was unreal to watch.
It was perfect, I thought. And Brian, maybe you can speak to it. You were there. You felt the atmosphere in that. Like, I'm fine with their relievers kind of struggling a little bit. The game was out of hand, and like it got somewhat closer, but it was never close. But was there any negative storylines? Because I couldn't find any. Every player played to their capability, and it was almost like everybody who stepped up to bat, whether the ball was in the dirt or was over the plate, they hit it over the wall. Like, it was a home run fest.
Well, they have more home runs than they do strikeouts through 2 games. Right. That is just a remarkable statistic.
Nobody saw that one.
No one saw any of this coming. That's the thing. You're right, Like, if you pump this into a simulation and said, just simulate what the greatest 2 days ever would look like, I don't even know if it would match these 2 days. The simulation, like AI would be like, well, we got to be a little bit realistic here and try to, do something. Like, no one got injured. Everyone's healthy. The Yankees have no confidence unless they're going to try to claim that they pick some up off the back end of the bullpen, to your point, Noodles. Like Justin Brewer comes in and starts getting hit. And,
there was a little bit.
There was a little bit of, what are we doing? And I hate the way modern baseball forces every team to baby everyone. And they did that with Yesavage. 78 pitches, no hitter, 11 strikeouts, and they pull him. And it was premeditated before he even went out in the 6th. Like Schneider said it after the game. They told him, you're facing one more guy and you're out. That guy happened to be the 9th hitter. Then he was going to run into the order for a 3rd time, and that's always the danger zone. And I wish they let him keep going and face Grisham again. You had struck him out twice. You had just struck out Judge the last time you faced him. like, let him keep going to the 7th, going to the 8th. But, it was about protecting him and allowing him to have success. And I can tell you, him walking off the field, it was a crazy, like, 1.5 to 2 minute experience where Schneider walks out and the boos rain down, because everyone wanted to see the Yesavage party continue. But then it shifted to this, like, just raucous roar of him walking off the field and the camera catching it. And then he comes out for the curtain call, which was just amazing. And he said after the game, that's what he's going to remember. He'll never forget those 2 experiences on top of the strikeouts and the performance.
So are they saving him, like, for possibly later in the series, later in the playoffs, his total career? Like listening to guys like Jeter and Ortiz and A-Rod talking about this split, even Boone talking about the way this guy pitched, that they had no shot. Like, Boone was like, that was so nasty, we didn't have a shot at that. That splitter, whatever that thing was, it was moving all over the place and down, and they couldn't come close to it, man.
Dude, they were putting swings on that it was
amateur hour whiffs.
Yes, sandlot stuff. Like, legit sandlot swings where you're like, this looks like a comedy. This looks like a Disney movie that, like, isn't even remotely believable, them chasing pitches yesterday. I do think, again, no one wants to put the cart before the horse, especially in Toronto. No one wants to bring up this conversation, and it probably is premature. But if it goes to Game 5, does Yesavage start or does Gausman start? Like, that's a legit chat after what we saw yesterday.
Well, that's what I kept thinking to myself, and that's the only silver lining of him coming out is, does he have enough juice if this ends up going 5 later in the series? Right now it looks like it could be a sweep, or it could be, a 3-1 type of scenario, go down and get 1 game out of there. But if they need him, is he fresh enough to go on a little bit shorter rest?
Yes.
Because they did pull him at 5 and a bit. You know? Like, that's
5
the only thing I
78
thought.
pitches, I think so, Noodles. And he's young. He's 22. Guy's running on adrenaline, man. He's like, the whole story. His whole story is incredible. Keegan will join us from Yankee Stadium. Keegan's already down there. Like, he's already back at work, and he's doing his thing. Keegan from Yankee Stadium in about 20 minutes. So we come in today. We're thinking Jays. We got some Leafs news we'll get to. And then the big boy out in Edmonton decides, today's the day I'm going to sign a 2-year, $12.5 million extension. Let me ask you this quickly.
Okay.
If I had have told you, let's play that game. If I had have told you on Friday the Jays would score 23 runs and spank the Yankees twice, would you find that more or less believable than the Connor McDavid signing a 2-year extension at $12.5 million per? What is more unbelievable if I had have told you that on Friday?
McDavid. For me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's McDavid. I would have said the Jays scoring all those runs, and McDavid, no way in hell would he sign, maybe for 2 years. Yeah, that's
2
believable.
years, yeah.
For 12 and a half, that blew me away when I saw that.
That's the thing that stood out for me. I've said all along, I thought he was going to sign a short-term deal, but I thought it was going to be 16, 17, like a team-friendly, that type of deal. 12 and a half just basically says, I'm Sidney Crosby, and I don't care about money. I care about winning in my environment. And what he's done is he shined a light on the organization and said, I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. You do your part. Now, listen, they've been to the finals in a couple of years in a row. But he's done his part now. Now it's up, Stan Bowman, the organization, all of that, and go, let's get this finished. But that's the less believable one. I can believe 2 years, like you said. 12 and a half.
That's the cap. It's cap hit for the last 7 years. He's just continued. He just signed a 10-year deal at 12 and a half per.
But that's, I thought, like Brian, I thought of you right away. I'm like, I'm like, okay.
Did you actually go down that dark path, Hayes, where you're like, that's what a guy that wants to win a Stanley Cup does?
Absolutely, I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I don't look at this. I look at it from a completely different lens. I don't look at it as this guy shined a light on the Oilers. I looked at it as he shined a light on every superstar in the league that claims they want to win. That's what he did today. And
I know, but not every superstar has $100 million in the bank like Connor McDavid does already.
Very valid.
Well, it's not 100, but he's already signed a $100 million deal.
He's signed for a fortune, and he makes a fortune on endorsements. 100%. A guy in Minnesota doesn't get that necessarily. A guy in
not even close.
In Columbus wouldn't get that. A guy in Toronto would get that. Guys in Toronto get almost as much, if not more, in terms of endorsements and in terms of being heroes in this town the rest of their lives. Nothing can match it. And that's the message that he sent. And honestly, I feel vindicated because I was yelling and screaming about this forever. Why does this guy have to sign that deal? You explain it to me. Not you two necessarily.
Right.
And it was always, well, he can't do that. No, well, what? You couldn't expect a player to do that. Player could never do that. Why would he? Yes, you can. It's your career. You can do whatever you want. And McDavid, the best player of this generation, stepped up and said, I'm not demanding anything because of the system. You got to play. Unfortunately, these are the rules in the NHL. It's a hard cap system. And the argument always was, well, how can you trust the team will do it right?
Right.
You can't. There's no guarantees. But you got to give them a shot, right? If you take all the money, then you're definitely not going to win. So, again, players can do that. Again, if a player wants to step in and say, I want all the money, then you're going to get all the money. So be it. But this is an example of a player saying, I'm not going to play hostage to the NHLPA. I'm not going to play hostage to this narrative out there that I have to do something. I want to win. Right. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take every penny out of this team's coffers, and I have such an appreciation for it. Yeah. I have been in awe of this guy his whole career. I have never had more respect for Connor McDavid. I've never had more respect. I think it's a remarkable play and remarkable move he made today.
You don't think the PA, everybody's always like, you're the next guy up. You're going to set the standard. Like Kaprizov got his number, and it was like, that was always the case. It's like, you're going to be the guy to set the standard. You don't think what about GMs now, Hayes, with this guy? Like all the GMs after Kaprizov saying, "Oh, I guess my number's 14 or 15 now." Now everyone's going to go to McDavid's number and say, "Oh, what about McDavid though?" You never talked. You never thought about that. McDavid's only getting 12 and a half. Do you know how many guys that are up for like trying to get an extension or do something now that are probably like, "Are you kidding me? The greatest player in the world just signed an extension for 12 and a half, and I want to go in there and ask for 13 or 14."
He set the standard, but you know what? Around the world, I think we have to, take a step back too. Gino Malkin was making more than Crosby. Crosby was just like, I'll take my money.
Draisaitl's making more than McDavid.
But McDavid did that on purpose. He literally said, I'm fine, but we don't know behind the scenes. I talked to somebody in Edmonton today, said this guy is so dedicated. He's watching, like he's not involved in like games where the team flies out to Vancouver and that. He's watching them streaming. Watching his teammates play. Like, he's that involved in every game. He's not hiding from anything. Like, my understanding is this guy is all in, and it didn't matter. And they kept saying it. Everything was lip service. Stan Bowman, there was a time last week when we were talking, boy, he had a little bit of a Scrabble face on going, he talked to that 97, right? Talk to 97. He controls it. 97, I don't know when he made that decision. But that rocked the hockey world, and I think from your standpoint, Brian, in a positive way. Like it's a good feeling at some point where somebody just didn't, attack the organization and grab every cent and go, okay, do what you can after what I've left over. He's like, I want to win and I want to stay here. It's a 2-year deal too.
And that's big. Like that. This is it now.
Right.
And what I think I would assume you'd appreciate if you're in Edmonton or if you're an Oilers fan is that. If they don't win in the next 3 years, and if he leaves, you're like, I totally get it.
He's giving you everything.
Yes, exactly. It's no more like vindictive. How could you? You're jamming us. Like this has got to be an understanding from all parties involved. And maybe he doesn't. Maybe in 2 years he stays or whatever. Who knows? I mean, we'll find that out as we get to it. But yes, there's so many different layers. How the other players respond, how the GMs respond, how the agents respond.
How about the GM, Hayes? Like, how much does this mean? I understand it's a very low number for the best player in the game, but what does it equate to as far as maneuverability? Like, him making 12 and a half, what is that going to allow Stan Bowman to do to say, okay, we're going to repay you now and really take a run at this and make sure that we're better than we ever could have been if you were making a lot more money?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what does it equate to?
Well, I would think a couple of things. One, you're ruthless now. And maybe you were anyway, but now you're ruthless. If a player's not cutting it, gone. You know,
Right.
like there's no picks that I got to hold on to that pick in 2028. No, gone. You know, like it
Right.
would appear as if like there's never been more of a 3-year window maybe in the history of the sport than this 3-year window. Like this is the definition of a 3-year window, right?
Yeah.
Is this one.
Yes.
Like it's all hands on deck. What are we doing here? How do you put them in the right position? And again, they're a really good team. It's been to back-to-back Cup finals. They're not starting from scratch. They're not trying to build from a 70-point platform. They're a really good team that's going to be really good this year. But it opens the door up with the cap going up every single year. Draisaitl's making money. Nurse is making money. Bouchard's making money. But they're going to have money to play with. And, you know, what a message to everybody that, hey, we're going to do everything we can to win.
And you're right. The cap's going up. Like I kept thinking it's a win-win on all different levels because what he does is he kicks it down the road 2 years, keeps the flies off, says this is the window, and at 30 years old he can sign an 8-year deal or a 7-year deal if he moves on, and that number is going to have a 2 in it. It'll be 20-something or whatever. And there's no apologies for that.
Unless he hasn't won. I'm not convinced of that anymore, Noodles. I thought that too. What if he hasn't won?
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
He'll do the same thing. You say, screw it. I'm not going for the 2 in front of it. I'm not doing it.
Exactly. If you're he's a rabid dog today, what's he going to be in 3 years if he hasn't won?
You're right. That's a great point. But what I'm saying is right now, while the cap is still in, I'll call it transition, 95.5 into 104.5 into 113 and then 120 and up, the flexibility is still lean right now. 2 years from now, you're going to be able to manage your cap. You'll be able to flush things out. So I think that's where he's given them the flexibility to go, hey, we can add players in this window. And by the time this window is over, we're not going to be penny pinching because the cap is going to be so large. And if you want to spend to it, you can find the players that fit underneath it. So that's why I said it's a win-win for him. And you're right. Whether they've won or not, that's a different story. But I'm just talking from his salary structure. He can go from 12.5 to 22 and not have a problem with it and not jam up the team if they manage the cap a couple years from now.
Imagine if you were hibernating and you just woke up and somebody said, I want you to match these 2 number 97 players in the NHL. They both wear number 97 in these 2 contracts. One is a 2-year extension at 12.5. and the other one is 8 times 17. No way in hell that you would say Kaprizov is the guy wearing 97 that got the 8-year extension at 17.
Yeah,
that's true. But you know, keep in mind, 3 years from now, if Kaprizov is still a top 10 player or has a great season this year and all that, 17 is going to be the going rate. Like, I think that's where we got to get our mind around is go like 17, 20. Like, that's going to be.
It's going to move in that direction.
Move quickly. Like, I don't know if you saw this Lane Hudson kind of stuff out of there. If
there's like Montreal slow played it, and then all of a sudden he said, "Wait a minute, if that guy's making that, I maybe shouldn't be making that."
You know, like that's the type of stuff where it's like, okay, you know, Luke Hughes at 9. I'm in the ballpark. Like, these deals are going to escalate very quickly, and I think teams are going to go, let's try and get you under what our thought process is right now. Like that Jake Wallman deal, that flew under the radar. That's a nice deal, 7 times 7 for a 29-year-old defenseman who's a top 3. Like,
didn't Detroit basically say?
Yeah, they like waived him effectively, and
they moved. I don't know what. I think it was because he was going to get paid. That's why. But he's a good defenseman. Like that's a really good deal for them. Like that's. Man, like he had 50 equivalent of 50 points last year.
Is he getting the you always tell that story about Shanahan getting traded and the other guy getting thrown in. Like, is Wallman sitting there saying, like, am I at the press conference? Or,
no.
You know, like.
Yeah.
There would be a PR guy come in the locker room and say, guys, we've had some transactions today. And he would get up and probably do a little stretch. And he would say, Connor, let's go.
Well, yeah.
Jake,
but I mean,
great stuff. We'll see you. You know, we're going to do an online chat with you later tonight if we have time.
I'll never forget that player. His name was Brian Glynn. He got traded to Detroit with Shanny, and they sent the bird because I think a part of the deal was Shanny was going to play that night in Detroit. And he left the building, and Brian Glynn came in this little TV lounge, and he goes, "What does this mean for me?" Like I'm not even on the same bird as Shanny. And I was like, I was 19 years old. Oh, what the hell do I know?
Yeah.
But it was just a weird transaction.
It's a weird one.
I don't know what this one means for me.
Yeah. You'd think, they could find a spot
just
for
throw the whole
bird.
bird. I think it was the team bird.
Yeah.
Was only Shanny on it. There was plenty of room for Glenner to get on that bird.
And he's on Southwest Airlines.
I don't even know if he got there. I honestly don't even know if he got there.
We have a bus ticket on Thursday with your name on it. Shanahan is mid-flight on his own plane.
I mean, Wallman's a pretty darn good player.
I understand that, but obviously it's completely overshadowed. Like, I don't think people in Edmonton are starting their, water cooler chat with the Wallman conversation.
What's bigger news, McDavid or the Leafs grabbing Sammy Blais and Caden Primo?
Pretty big. Not going to lie. I was juggling where we'd start. But, the Leafies, they start on Wednesday night. Edmonton on Wednesday night. We'll get to that into the 5 p.m. hour. Luke's coming up with a pick. All of a sudden, Hayes and Bro on fire. We knew we would be. We tried to spot you guys a lead. I'd prefer if you were up by 10 or 12 to make it interesting for us. But we're all square going into the Monday nighter tonight. So we'll catch up with Luke. Keegan's coming up from Yankee Stadium. Full recap of the first 2 games. What does he make of the attitude around the team as they got to New York? Game 3 tomorrow, Shane Bieber and the pressure on him to come out of the gate flying. We'll catch up with our boy Keegan, and I'm sure you guys will ask him about me kind of being around.
Being a floater.
Being a floater. Yeah, basically being a floater. So Keegan's coming up from Yankee Stadium. Luke coming up. Best bet still to come. Something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line of the final score. Man, was it a scene the last 2 days. And I'm curious what that crowd's going to look like tomorrow night. It's Yankee Stadium. They're going to be loud. They're going to be bold. They're going to be obnoxious. But
Owly.
Owly probably with their own team, though.
Yes.
That's the question. I mean, like, this was as embarrassing as it gets. 23 runs they give up. They couldn't pitch. They couldn't hit. They couldn't field. Like, it was just a disaster for the Yankees. And everything came up Blue Jays. And our main man, Keegan Matheson, has been there since the spring down in Dunedin. Every game throughout the season, and obviously was there this weekend, and now he's already down there in New York. Let's bring him in here on the Maple Toyota hotline. Here's my main man, Keegan Matheson, MLB.com. Look at this cat. Man, does he look good.
What a backdrop.
What
a backdrop.
A backdrop. What's happening, Keegan?
This is a little nicer than my living room, fellas. Normally I've just thrown on a dress shirt that I've, tucked into some gym shorts. But this is big time, fellas. We're going formal here.
Keegan, what was the moment that got you this weekend? There was a lot of runs. We talked about it off the top of the show. It was a perfect weekend for the Jays. Hitting, pitching, Yesavage, Gosman, Vladdy. What was that one moment that got your attention the most where you just kind of took it in and were like, wow?
There was a moment, guys, where I looked over my right shoulder and Brian Hayes, host of OverDrive, had walked into the press box and something in the air shifted in there. There's these moments you remember, guys, but I got to go to the Vladdy Grand Slam. What Trey Yesavage did, we're going to be talking about that for years. I really believe that, guys. 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about, wow, what a performance, but was it as good as Yesavage's back in 2025? Vladdy's still the face of this franchise, though. It's got to be all about Vladdy, and his moment after he did what he did in Game 1 was incredibly special because it's got to be him. If the Blue Jays are going to go on and win the World Series, it has to be Vladdy. And for him to come up in that moment after a rough finish to the season, that's special, guys. I've covered Vladdy's whole career. That's the game I've been waiting to cover. And I didn't know when it would come. It's been ticking and ticking away. But, man, when that ball went out, that's about as loud as that stadium can get with the roof open. That was pretty special.
So you talked about all the special moments, and we'll get to Brian Hayes and his entrance here in a second. But, how do they follow it up? You're looking at 2 perfect games almost Now you go down to New York, and Hayes was talking about it. It's an unruly crowd. They're going to probably be pissed, but they might be more pissed with their own team than the Blue Jays. But, what can the Jays do, either maybe early in a game or just to set the tone to say, we're not letting you back in this series?
Yeah, this makes Bieber so important tomorrow. If Shane Bieber can quiet this down, just pitch a clean first inning and let this place relax, turn it into a ball game. Because when you were at Yankee Stadium, guys, this is a big reason they kept Trey Yesavage at home. When you are here, you're going to hear some words you haven't heard in a while. You're going to hear some stuff. And that's either going to rain down on the Blue Jays or maybe the Yankees, depending on how this goes. You've got to calm it down. I'm not going to say they need to come out and land a punch and go up 5-0. You can't just decide to do that. But they need to play clean baseball early on. If the Blue Jays boot a couple of ballers around here, you're going to get on top of them. You're going to hear that chant, Bieber, Bieber, Bieber. It happens here, and it's overwhelming when it does happen. I've been here in playoff games where they're chanting the name of the shortstop, of the starting pitcher, and it's going to crush a guy. You've got to avoid that off the top. Just let it be a baseball game. And Shane Bieber's the right guy for this. Guys, this is the whole reason that they acquired him. And if Bieber can go out and clinch against the Yankees, a 3-0 sweep in the ALDS, that's immediately one of the best trades this team's ever made. Just with one win, one game, it's worth everything you gave up. I don't care if Cal Steven goes on to win the Cy Young next year. You sweep the Yankees and clinch, all-time trade.
With Keegan Matheson, MLB.com, and, of course, contributor here on OverDrive, SportsCenter, JNSC, does it all. He's down in New York at Yankee Stadium. In terms of the mood around the Jays, how would you compare it today compared to, let's say, Friday?
More of a relaxed confidence, I think I'd put it at. It's pretty calm and cool here, guys. Vladdy said that this was an optional day, but everyone came in. And he highlighted that as a difference between now and back in 22-23. So you can kind of read between the lines there. Maybe back in the day, optional day meant a few players stayed at the hotel. Now they're all here. Everyone was out in the field doing a bit of something. Maybe they were just throwing catch. Maybe they took BP or some ground balls, got some treatment. But everyone was in doing something. The Yankees did not have a workout today, guys, and that surprised me, quite frankly. I thought they would at least have some rounds of BP, have some guys in doing more than just treatment, but they did not hold a workout today. Just the Blue Jays. It was about an hour. It was quick, and listen, it was not the most urgent thing in the world, but they were here, they were together, and I like that, frankly, that they did that today. I know New York's a fun place to spend an afternoon, but I think this is the biggest game of your season. Get to the ballpark and get together, and it looked like it should.
You mentioned Vladdy. Like, it can't be just the Yankees where he plays them and just switches, flips the switch on Keegan. Did he make some kind of adjustment? It looks like he was getting under the ball, hitting it the other way a little bit, and it just looked different than that one that went straight down on the ground all the time. Like, how did he make that adjustment, and how did he look so good? Because it was incredible what he did, obviously.
Yeah, guys, I think it's a lot like what we saw from George Springer early in the year, where it's not a mechanical adjustment. There's no magic fix in there. A lot of it's just mindset. George Springer last year was defensive. He was trying not to get out instead of trying to get a hit. I think we're seeing that from Vladdy a bit more now, and he's not trying to do too much. He realizes the team around him is pretty good. I know he doesn't have Bo Bichette, but this team has other players. And what we've seen from Vladdy is him just playing free and loose and like a kid, guys. I hate to make the comparison or the explanation of when he's having fun, he plays well, because that just sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm spewing that out. But if there's any player in Major League Baseball, guys, it's Vladdy. I think he should show up, dance and joke around, do whatever he wants. When he is loose and he's taking those big rips like you saw in that Grand Slam, that's when this stuff happens. Like, that's the player that I covered through the minor leagues when he was the #1 prospect in baseball. He was having a party on the field every single night. Late September, you see Vladdy with kind of that scrunched face and furrowed brow. He's overthinking things. He's frustrated, slamming his bat, throwing his helmet. That's not Vladdy. Vladdy is a one-man party, and we're seeing that again lately, man. He's having the time of his life, and I think he, even though he's not saying it out loud, no matter how much the New York media is begging him to say it, he loves beating the Yankees.
Yes, and they were dying for that, man. The whole story.
Oh, they wanted it.
Oh, begging
and he wouldn't
give
them it,
something.
Which was beautiful. He knew what was happening. He knew exactly what was happening. Are you sure, Vladdy? Are you sure it's not us, big mighty New York? He knew that he was not going to give them the satisfaction. It was kind of beautiful to witness.
Yeah, it really was. And with Keegan Matheson, and you and I were there, hard-hitting journalists. We were, grinding it out over the course of the weekend, and Trey Yesavage after the game, you know, he mentioned the statement he had last week where he said, you know, I'm built for this. And then he thought about it before the game. He's like, if you make a statement like this, you better back it up. You know, and he more than just backed it up. It was just a phenomenal performance. And, you know, you look at the way the Yankees, they were so puzzled. Like, they had no idea how to catch this guy. You had a great comment in the postgame. He said the ball could have been 3 sizes larger. They still wouldn't have hit it last night. You know, put that into perspective. In terms of the whole season, everything's broken their way. You know, the Yesavage story and the way he responded and the way he was even emotional after the game.
He's been the best story I've covered in years, guys. It's amazing to watch him come up from single A. And, Brian, we talked about this in the postgame. I can't make the hockey or football or NBA comparison here. Like, it's not a guy starting out in high school and ending up in the NBA. There's no comparison to this in pro sports, what he did this year. Starting out in single A against 18 and 19-year-olds, high A, double A, triple A, and now the big leagues. Normally, guys, if you're going to see this happen, it's with a crappy team. And he's up for the last 2 weeks of the year to say, hey, come learn how the big leagues work, come learn what hotels we stay in and how this all works. He's part of an AL leading team that's going for a World Series, and he's going to be a big reason. He might be the best pitcher on this staff right now, which is ridiculous. He's 22 years old. He threw his first pro pitch 6 months ago. I've never covered anything like this. And what I love about Yesavage is his maturity and how he approaches this. Everybody can throw 98, 99. I really do not care about that anymore. Everyone can rip a 90-mile-an-hour slider and miss bats. Everyone can do that. But you need to be a grown-up. And how Yesavage approaches all of this, there's this quiet kind of cockiness that he's really pulling off. And he looks at baseball and he's like, listen, man, this is a 5-year-old's game. I'm really damn good at it. And when he made that comment, Brian, about backing it up, that's fantastic. He's not hiding behind these pre-planned quotes with this fake moxie. This is just who he is. He's a natural. I think he's a superstar in the making, guys. I really do. I think we've got to get used to this guy in Toronto.
Does it get people asking questions? Like, if it got to a Game 5, like, does this guy's name come up? Like you just said, he's the most dangerous pitcher on the staff. Like, would they think about this guy or what?
I think you've got to, and I think that's part of the beauty of taking him out a little early. He was in the high 70s pitch count, guys. And for my dollar, man, nothing in baseball in the postseason beats the starter coming back on short rest. It's this, like, heroic ride in. And you've seen it over the years. Like, Madison Bumgarner was that great example with the Giants for years, coming back on short rest, pitching that 8th or 9th inning. I don't know anyone else I'd rather do that than Trey Yesavage. Let's say this goes to a Game 5, hypothetically. A couple things go wrong this week. You're tied 2-2 in the 8th, 9th inning. Trey Yesavage. Man, who else is going to come in and strike out the side? Who are you going to bet on over Trey Yesavage right now? That is a really short list. I don't know if it's a list at all right now, guys.
No, I don't think it would be. I don't think it is. I mean, I think he's pitched his way into that conversation with what he did yesterday and the whole approach down the stretch. And, again, if you're a Blue Jay fan and the Blue Jays, you're hoping it doesn't get to that point. Just reset for the championship series and figure it out from there. But I do, you know, everyone was happy in that park yesterday. I got to think Ross Atkins, Mark Shapiro were looking at that because that was going to be the Scherzer start, right? That had the potential to be the Max Scherzer start. Not only did they go to Scherzer and say, you're not even on the roster, but a 22-year-old who showed up a month ago is going to pitch effectively in your spot. I'm almost still in awe with the fact that the Jays made that decision. Clearly, it was the right decision, not only to pitch Yesavage there, but to keep Scherzer off the roster. But now that the dust is settled, like, what do you make of that decision, and where do we see this going with Scherzer in the future, if at all?
Guys, I wonder if 3 years ago they would have made that decision at all. I don't think they would have. I think 2 or 3 years ago they would have carried Max Scherzer and done this differently. I think this right here represents what's changed with this organization. And from the top down, a lot of this has been with John Schneider. He's spoken about this very well, I think. But really top down, in this organization, they've done some important things, which is always looking at yourself, talking about what you screwed up, and fixing it. And this is a decision that I think shows the new Blue Jays is chasing upside and chasing what you want to happen right now. Max Scherzer is a Hall of Famer, and you just took a 22-year-old rookie who has pitched for 6 months in pro baseball over him. I know the numbers. I know a lot of stuff pointed to that. But that's not as easy a decision as we make it seem once it's already made. I don't think they would have done that a few years ago. So I really commend them for doing that and setting up the rotation like they did. They set Trey up for success here. And this is just a massive success story, this whole organization this year. To start him out in single A, this was a plan. He didn't just surprise people. They had this plan. And back in April, I bet you they would have said there's a 1% chance this works out. But, man, the front office, Joe Sclafani and the player development group, man, a ton of credit.
Unbelievable. All right, buddy. Well, you look and sound like a modern-day Lloyd Robertson down there. You're crushing it, man. It's just incredible. And
keeping them fooled, fellas, you know?
You're crushing it, man. We can't thank you enough. And enjoy New York, and hopefully it's a quick trip. But if it's not, then maybe we'll see you on Friday night. Great stuff, and we'll do it again soon. Thank you for this.
All righty, fellas. Take care. We'll talk soon.
There he is, Keegan Matheson, MLB.com, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline.
I love how everybody kind of takes credit for it. They're like, this is what we planned the whole time. We knew that this guy was going to go from single A ball to the big leagues, pitching in the playoffs and punting 2 veteran guys off the staff.
Mm-hmm.
No one had that plan.
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. No. Like they're in the ALDS without Scherzer, Bassett, or Barrios on the roster.
Dude, do you remember when Scherzer was on fire, like kind of getting his game together? Mm-hmm. People were like, there's your game 1 starter.
Yeah, game 1. There, we talked about it.
Absolutely.
For sure. It was like game 1
That's
right
your
there.
guy. That's your guy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it took courage. I really did, because, I think Keegan's right. Like, I think in the past they would have said, wow, we can't do that. We got to go with the aura of Scherzer and the experience. And, in sports, a lot of times that's experience wins, right? It's the same in every sport. Well, he's a veteran. He won't get caught up in the moment. What can we expect out of the young guy?
Maybe they learned from the Barrios experiment in Minnesota where they took him out and it was like that just wasn't the right thing to do, so we got to just do things differently and kind of go with a feel or something. Who knows, man?
But you know what? Everyone was talking about pulling Barrios, and yesterday was a prime example. People were saying, leave this guy in, let him ride. Like, it didn't backfire because they ended up getting the job done. But can you imagine if it got a little closer? It was 13-11, and I mean, the game was too far gone. But the relievers didn't do a great job yesterday.
They did not. Them.
That's they didn't help their cause, but they got the rust off. They got the nerves out of the way. Now maybe they'll have a good relieving game tomorrow or the next day.
Well, I just wanted them to get a few more Ks. That's all I want. I just wanted a few more Ks just to go up the list, and because he was at 11, just get a couple more. But I don't know. They made up that mind.
Well, and like the two coolest strikeouts of the last 2 games have been against Judge. Like the moment of the series is Aaron Judge, top of the 6th, game 1, bases loaded, nobody out, and he strikes out, right? And like that is still the pivotal moment of the series because he could have broken everything wide open. He didn't do it. And then yesterday, Yesavage walks him in the first inning on 4 straight pitches, and then he comes back up and he strikes him out. And like striking out Judge, there's something about it. I mean, we all know what he represents and who he is and how great of a player he is. Like, to send Judge packing is just a wild, wild scene. And he had 11 strikeouts yesterday, and they were all great. But you tack on, I struck out Aaron Judge in my first playoff game.
Big nugget, man. It's a big nugget.
That's big for the Wikipedia page. Like, that's very significant for the baseball reference page. All right, Luke coming up in 15 in studio. More on the McDavid signing today and the ripple effect. Leafs with a practice today. They're mixing up the lines. What's going to happen with Easton Cowan? Did Nick Robertson do enough over the weekend to end up playing on Wednesday night? Them picking up Caden Primo. What does that mean for James Reimer and his future? We might have an answer on that, but we'll get into that more into the next hour. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Tonight on TSN 1050, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, Luke's coming up Monday night or tonight. Chiefs Jaguars, big game. And Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for you guys to pick. You guys are on the clock for that game. And, I mean, you're going to take the Chiefs.
Yesterday, dude, man, like a Buffalo Bills team. Like, are you serious with that nonsense?
Well, it's a divisional game. Drake May played well.
Okay, he did. Wasn't it a lot on Buffalo what they gave him? I've never seen so many goofy, stupid fumbles. Yep. Like it was. I couldn't. It was unrecognizable.
Yes. Yes,
unrecognizable.
Josh Allen didn't play well. None of them. They weren't ready for the game. It was as if
they were in a fog.
Yes, it was as if they've dominated the AFC East for years, which they have. And they looked at it Sunday night, and they're like, we're going to spank these guys. And all of a sudden, New England's 3-2. May looks good. They got Vrabel.
Vrabel did it. He's done a good job.
Yeah, like they've had a good defense throughout this, even with Belichick leaving.
I get it, but I've never seen a team go to 3-2 and get like so much tire pumping. It's incredible. Well, like May did have a good game. Did you see old Billy B refuses to acknowledge anything about this guy's performance? What a loser.
Belichick's legacy is taking a massive hit. A massive, massive hit. He's such an unlikable, because, the report is that Belichick has ordered everyone at UNC, they cannot post anything on social media or anywhere that features the New England Patriots. And Drake May played at UNC. It's a massive story that your quarterback is flourishing in the NFL, and Bill Belichick, because of his own pettiness, won't allow them to post anything.
That reeks
it's embarrassing.
At the girlfriend. It's something's weird there.
But he can't cop out with a girlfriend all the time. He's 70-something.
I know, but what do you
think he lets their scouts? He doesn't let their scouts in the building for whatever scouting purposes at practice. He doesn't let the New England scouts in.
And he would know about this, Noodles. You're right. Maybe it was someone else, but then he could overrule and say, what are we doing? Exactly. That's stupid.
Yeah, that is stupid. You're right.
It's such an amateur play. You're 70-something. It's a childish move. Belichick just looks worse and worse every week. It's crazy.
Look. Really bad look.
All right, hour 2 coming up. Luke Wilson on that, the Monday Nighter, what else he saw last night, and we'll get into some Leafs news, back into McDavid and the Jays as well. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Is Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Just watch me dance. Just watch me.
Hour 2 Overdrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. We'll get to our best bets a little bit later in the hour on the Monday Nighter. Probably fade whatever Owen Wilson ends up doing.
Oh, no.
That's just the truth, man. You guys, that should have been an immaculate Sunday. You're so lucky. Carson Wentz, who stinks, all of a sudden finds a way to storm down the field in London, England, of all places.
See, this is what I can't stand, is you like to create these fake narratives, man. We went 1-1 with our picks, and it was a Sam Darnold off the head into a dude's arms was what jammed us.
Wow. We went 2-0 with 2 great picks.
You're 2-1 on the weekend. Thursday was one of the worst picks of all time.
Not the best. Yeah, not our greatest, but that's fine.
And we're on the clock tonight.
Okay.
Tied up, we're on the clock. I couldn't ask for much more.
It was weird that it did go off a guy's head and then right into his arm. That was a weird play. I didn't see the live. I didn't see the deflection off the head. I had to see it on the replay, but that was a weird play.
It was very strange, but Seattle's got to be kicking themselves right now because it shouldn't have got. If Sam Darnold plays that well, we shouldn't get at home. I know Tampa's good, and Baker looked incredible.
Baker's my boy, and you know it.
Hang on a second.
I love
here.
Baker Mayfield.
Talk to me.
Is Baker talk MVP kind of conversation? Is that stuff real?
It's real right now, for sure.
Every time I hear Baker, and I know Hayes has kind of liked them the last couple of years, but it seems like it's good, but it's just going to implode somewhere down the line. That stuff's real, Baker Mayfield?
I know it's kind of one of those things where you're it's hard to fathom that, but the way he's playing, he threw for 379. He had 4 total incompletions yesterday. I think he was 29 of 33. The Seahawks secondary is beat up, but still, that's considered a very good defense. And Baker did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Oh, by the way, he didn't have his best receiver in Mike Evanson and didn't have his first-string running back in Bucky Irving.
Right.
Again,
it's incredible.
The fact that we got jammed on that part, see, we should have been 2-0. I'm hurt.
Well, can we point out how beautiful those uniforms are, too, for both teams?
Yeah.
The Seahawks, Bucks, like the unis were so
retros?
pure.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so pure yesterday.
What did you think of Buffalo's whiteout?
It's okay. Yeah,
I didn't love it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
And they played like it.
Yeah,
Like, what
I
was
agree.
that performance last night?
Tell me.
Listen, guys, like, and I got to, like, choose my words carefully here, but Buffalo is not, they are a juggernaut. They are one of the best teams because of Josh Allen. Their roster is not a loaded juggernaut of talent. You look at offensively, I mean, who's their next best weapon outside of Josh? Probably James Cook. Like, I think James Cook's just unbelievable, but I'm not putting him in the Saquon, I know he's having a hard year, Derrick Henry CMC category. You look at their receiving core, like the guy I was really hoping would be great for them was Josh Palmer. He doesn't even play half the time. So you got Shakir. Kincaid looked great last night, but he's been very hit or miss. Keon Coleman. Like, they're a team full of good players, but outside of Josh, and Ed Oliver would be the other guy who's not playing. Milano's back, but those two guys are the superstars, and everybody else is a very talented NFL player. I don't know. Everyone expected them to just go in and, win by 100? I mean, you guys had the spread.
Well, we picked the Pats, and credit the Patriots. I mean, they played well last night.
They
Drake May
did. They
looked
played
good.
really well. Vrabel has turned that team around. You know, clearly they are a lot better than they were under Gerard Mayo and under the last few years of Bill. It's a tough divisional game, and Buffalo turned the ball over. Again, it's not like Buffalo is going to win by 40 and can withstand a bunch of turnovers, one of which was in the red zone. You know, it just is the nature of the beast. You're playing another good team. You turn the ball over, you're going to lose.
Quick question. I mean, was Diggs a big part of that? He looked like he was good teammate, high-fiving. Like, I mean, what do you make of his whole situation there?
Noodles, even before the game, I'm like, yo, this guy was – I know it was hot last night. Shout out Dave Naylor.
Sweating.
Dave Naylor had on the golf shirt on. I love that.
He was sweating bullets before the game.
Sweating. I've never seen anything like it. This guy was like leaking sweat. And generally, when you see that, it's the big boys.
Yeah.
To see a wide receiver, I'm like, this guy looked locked in. I mean, he had 1 million catches last night. I do think Stephon Diggs, if he can be that true ace or Drake May, and then you pair that with Hunter Henry, that's kind of a nasty combo. This throw out here was outrageous. This throw out here was unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, it's a revenge game for Diggs. I mean, last year in Houston was not fun for him.
Totally. And I'll say this again. I'm not trying to, build this Patriots team up to anything more than they are. I think they're a very good football team. I wouldn't put them as a contender right now whatsoever. But they are being built to withstand very tight games. You look at what they do well. Coming into last night, they were one of the best teams in the league against the run. Yards per carry, I'm speaking. Their pass defense was not great. Last night it was a little bit better. Josh still threw for a decent amount of yards. But it's like they can stop the run. They kind of have 3 running backs, so they had 3. It looks like Gibson's going to be out for a bit. So you got 2 guys there. They run the football okay, and now they've got a receiver in Diggs that's kind of doing everything, and they got a very good pass-catching tight end in Hunter Henry. Like, this is not a joke anymore. The Patriots are no longer the laughing stock of the NFL.
Yeah, they look good last night. Who is more finished, the New York Yankees or the Baltimore Ravens?
The Ravens, for sure.
The Ravens are more finished than the
Not
Yankees.
even close.
Okay.
I mean, let's go to the Yankees route. They're certainly backs against the wall.
Yeah.
But you got to figure if Rodon can pull something out of his sleeve in the Bronx and they win Game 3.
Well, that's the biggest thing. They need to find someone who can actually
Pitch.
strike somebody out.
Totally.
Like their pitching has just been torched.
You would think that if they find a way to win Game 3, I'm not even saying they're going to do it, but the advantage would be in New York's favor for 4 because I believe it's a bullpen game.
It's going to be for the Jays, and Schlittler's going for the Yankees.
And you would hope
which is
Schlittler
concerning.
can repeat the performance.
Right.
But, I mean, the Jays are obviously in a great spot. So that's, if you ask me that question, I would say not that the Yankees are going to win in 5 here, but the big issue is the Ravens are jammed.
They're done, right?
Cooked.
Like they're finished.
Cooked.
Okay.
I mean, their whole team
What
is hurt.
happened there, man? Like, I know Lamar, but injured. But what the hell's going on?
Beyond Lamar, their defense is horrible on all 3 levels. When you lose Matt Bouquet, who I think might have been their best defensive player, that's tough. imagine taking out that guy in any defense is going to be very, very hard to come back from. But their secondary's banged up and hasn't played well. Their linebackers are banged up and haven't played well. And their defensive, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. I believe every single team they've played has had, like, their highest scoring total of the year. Houston's not even a good offense and shredded them.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud has struggled all year and looked like
he looked
John
like
Elway
23 instead of 43 like he claims
A lot of people picked them.
The Ravens were the team, man.
They were the team,
and
man.
then
Everybody picked them to win it.
So the defense has been horrible. And then the other next shocking part is offensively, they've struggled to run the football. And so now you got Cooper Rush back there with no run game, and you're giving up 50 points a game. Not 50, but let's call it.
Yeah.
They've almost given up 40 every game.
Yeah, it feels like they're now. I guess the silver lining is all of a sudden their division is a disaster because the Bengals are even more cooked. They are horrendous, and the Browns are horrendous. The only team they can beat is the Packers. And then you look at the Steelers and you're like, man, that guy's 42 playing quarterback.
That's the thing. Aaron's got to stay healthy, but you got to think
it might be 8 or 9 wins that division, possibly.
I think Pittsburgh gets over 10.
Okay.
They have a very weak schedule.
I'm
if you
with
look at Pittsburgh's schedule, it's very, very weak.
I'm with you. I think they do, and I think as of now, obviously the odds-on favorite to win it. But would it be out of the realm of possibility they finish 8 and 9? Like, is that crazy?
No, it's not
crazy.
It's
that the Steelers are 8 and 9, which means if you're the Ravens, you get through next week and get to the bye.
But next week is the Rams.
Right, and they're going to lose.
That's what you would assume.
They're going to be 1 and 5, I guess, at that point.
Yes, and this is where, this is kind of the fun part of football, but you run out of games.
Right. Can they get to 10? Can they get to 9 and 8?
So if they get to 9 and 8, they've got to end up going 8 and 3 in their last 11 if they lose next week.
Right.
And then you start to, do the math. Obviously, with Lamar healthy, they can do that. But the tough part is the defense is so bad. So Lamar's going to have to come out and go on a generational offensive run. They're going to have to score 35 every game.
Yeah.
And that might not even be enough.
It's like the Bengals last year, basically.
Yes.
And that wasn't enough for the Bengals.
To go 8 and 3 to win 8 of 11 is not an easy task for anyone.
Right. Crazy
It's crazy
stuff.
To think that Baltimore is going to potentially miss the playoffs by a few games.
Yeah, I know.
Here's the next one. I was going through it last night. I'm scratching my head, and I obviously think Buffalo's going to win the division, but I think New England's got a shot to make the playoffs.
Yes,
their schedule is a joke.
Yeah,
Miami's brutal. The Jets are
they have 0-17 vibes.
Yes,
they got destroyed yesterday. They got crushed by everyone who's ever supported the Jets yesterday. Said they just don't even care. And this is garbage.
Yeah,
they have 0-17 vibes. I'm fairly certain this stat still holds. They have not created a turnover yet.
And this is a defensive head coach,
Aaron Glenn.
I know.
Was a defensive coordinator. Like that screams one and done.
If we dug into it though, is there a realistic chance that they go 0-17, or is there some form of a layup in there?
Let me go through their schedule. Okay.
Yeah, because maybe there's a win in there.
Yeah, I might be able to, I can probably find one here. Broncos next week. No
way.
Panthers.
Potentially.
Maybe.
But that's a good shot. I mean, for them.
That's a coin flip.
That's at home, too. They could get the Panthers
winning
at home.
yesterday was the biggest gong show I've ever seen.
I know.
Between the guy dropping the ball in the end zone and then that was
Tennessee that won that game.
Tennessee winning, but the Panthers beating Miami was also just
equally
Miami puked all over themselves.
Well, did you see Mike McDaniel walking through the corridor like he just? And it was a dead man walking.
There was a cab waiting for him. Like he is dead man walking for sure.
But these running backs and just dropping the ball before they get to the end zone, and leading to.
Dude.
Like it's crazy.
So the biggest fine from the team, whatever you can do, like that is just so stupid when you're that close. Just take 2 steps,
guys. The next thing that it's gotten bizarre, and believe it or not, I did have a couple long ones. So I did this personally. We're like right now, if you're watching this, if I'm him, I'm looking up at the jumbotron. Like I remember I had one in Arizona, and I had ended up being 80 yards, and with 20 yards out. I'm looking at the big screen going into the end zone to see who's behind me. Is somebody coming to get me? So the idea that not only he drops it, but he has no clue that, if there's another 2 yards in that thing, it's probably punched out.
Right. He's not even paying attention to that extent.
Right. Let alone the Jumbotron. Do you not hear the guy breathing?
Yeah, that too.
Come on.
Again, from my personal experience on this thing, every time, which unfortunately wasn't a ton, but the times I broke runs that I was going to score, it was like immediately, no one's around me, full sprint here, and look up. Who is someone chasing me down and run into the end zone? You can't, and he's the guy too, it's not Saquon Barkley. He's not going to get 1 million touchdowns in this league.
Well, Gannon
almost killed him.
Furious.
Almost killed him.
And I think smacked him in the chest.
Yeah, almost killed him.
What's the reaction to that? A coach, touching a player.
That I thought was strange. But I also am a little biased there. I find everything Gannon does strange.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
And it's a bit weird. Football, to me, you've got guys that are motivators. I never played for Dan Campbell, but he certainly seems like one. Mm-hmm. Even though it's polar opposite, I would call Pete Carroll one of the best motivators I've ever been around.
He better start motivating.
Oh, big time. Shambles over there.
A mess.
But then when you get these super nerds that are trying to rah guys, it's hey man, you're not really.
It's not natural.
You're not a rah guy.
Yeah.
You can't be shoving guys you haven't been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like I saw some people wondering, again, without knowing what he said. It didn't look to me like he was trying to build him up.
No, it looked
like he was furious.
Totally.
Some people were saying, what if he was going over saying, head up, stop being a baby over here. You screwed up, but let's go. We got a game to win. Because they were still in the driver's seat.
Until that that one touchdown was the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
How you lose to Tennessee. Here's what's crazy. And I lost a ticket in our survivor pool with that.
Oh, no.
We were on the Cardinals, and we're down. We got one team still left, but one pick was the Cardinals. And I was going to text and be like, we're home free. This is done. It's
Here it
over.
is. Here it is. This is the craziest thing I've seen in a while. So we get to the scramble. It's a 3-man rush. We sauce one. It gets tipped. Blatant pick. No one even
fumble. Idiot,
the kick is what kills me.
For me and O to be done.
Yeah.
That's the touchback into the end zone, and
fumble, and then the
Three
kick,
Stooges routine.
Look at this kick coming in there.
The kick is wild, and then the same guy then bats it into the end zone.
Oh, it's just crazy that Arizona found a way to lose that game. It's almost impossible for them to do that.
Partsy, you talked about them last week, saying maybe it's time to look at what they're doing there and blow the whole thing up. Maybe that game is the answer, where it's that's enough for you guys.
I honestly. Again, going into the year, there was a lot of hype. Arizona in the NFC West. And I'm I've got them cemented as the 4th best team in the NFC West. I've got them cemented as the 4th best. I mean, they can scramble around a little bit, do some off-schedule stuff, but are we ever going to see, you look at when the Rams get hot right now on offense. Run game, play action, Matthew Stafford shots. He's got weapons. Do you ever see that kind of rhythm or fluidity out of the Arizona Cardinals offense?
Well, and I'm sure you appreciate this. If you're Trey McBride, aren't you just demanding out of that spot?
Got to.
He had 1 touchdown last year. I don't think he's got one this year. He is a stud, that kid.
Stud.
And just nothing, man. It's crazy.
It's tough sledding over there.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
At least they're living in Arizona, though.
That is a benefit that you do get to play in Arizona.
Here's the question. You guys think I'm wrong? Who do you think's worse off, the Ravens or the Yankees? I'm still stuck on that.
Yeah. I mean, it probably is. I don't know, man.
The Yankees, because of the magnitude of the situation. The Ravens can go, they've got the injury. Who's injured on the Yankees? They're just playing terrible. And the Jays are outplaying them. At least the Ravens have a built-in somewhat excuse.
Well, I'll tell you what, too. Fried getting smoked is a dagger.
Here's the thing. The Jays have hit him hard his whole career.
Yeah.
And they faced him multiple times this year and torched him. And Yankee fans, so oblivious to that, they're we got Fried on the mound. He can't strike these guys out. He has not struck them out all year. And they destroyed him yesterday.
He's so money. Every other team you watch him, you're that guy is an absolute stud, and nobody has a chance.
He
and the guy
down
plays the Jays, and he's a gong show.
Yeah,
how is that possible?
I don't know. They got his number, man. They have his number. And here's why I might say Yankees, because they have less time. Like you mentioned, yes, you're running out of games with the Ravens, but you still do have a certain amount. And like JP just said on FanDuel, take this for what it's worth, the Ravens are still favored to win the division.
That's insanity.
Minus 105.
That's insanity.
Because that's
what are they going to draw? If they go to 1-5, they're still going to be favored?
Well, it's a 2-team race. Like Cincinnati's not doing it, Cleveland's not doing it.
I agree, but Cincinnati's got more wins than they do.
I know. And Cleveland, I thought Gabriel looked okay.
I was actually impressed.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more about will Pittsburgh come back to earth than could Baltimore come alive. I mean, I guess that's a part of it, but anyway, let's get to the games tonight. Speaking of FanDuel, what is it? Chiefs minus 3.5? Still minus 3.5 against the Jags tonight. This is a tough game, man. Jags have played better. Jags have played pretty well this year.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
No, you're on the Chiefs?
No. I'm not buying it. You know, you look at they beat the Texans. They beat the Texans. Lost to the Bengals with Joe Burrow. The big win is against the Niners. You know, there's not of the 3 wins. The Niners one is legit. Niners are banged up, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not buying it. There's just no way I can go in and it's only 3.5. Take Trevor Lawrence.
That's what I was going to say, Part. Sometimes you just break it down to one individual matchup. And like somebody said last week, what was your little saying there, Hazy? Know who you are betting with? Or what was your
number one rule, know who you're betting for as opposed to who you're betting against. That's valid. Here, you're betting for the Chiefs.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I got you.
I can't. There's no world in which I could. I mean, it could happen. I didn't think Baker would throw for 380 against the Seahawks.
Man, Baker's legit, dude. Like,
he is
very
trip.
legit.
Okay, I read this online today, and I don't agree with it. But I was like, dang, they've got a point. Should Dak Prescott be in the MVP conversation? Statistically, he's right there. They're 2-1. Mm-hmm. You would have thought after 5 games that Dallas Cowboys team with that defense would be 500? I would have said you were insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
Dak has been lights out this year.
He's getting a lot of love south of the border, man. They're loving Dak's action. Dak is loving Dak's action.
They got to make the playoffs for him to clearly be in contention. Yeah. And I don't think they will.
No, I mean, not with that defense.
I still don't. And CeeDee Lamb's out and kind of smoke and mirrors.
Could be.
A little bit.
He's ripping right now.
He looks good. He always looks good at home.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about Dak, in Dallas. I'm worried about Dak in November and December on the road.
Totally.
What does that look like? I'll believe that when I see it. All right. You guys are on the Chiefs. Lock it in. Al's brother will be chirping away. I'm sure he loves the Jags tonight.
He's such a hero. He gets in that group chat and just, he starts to be such a hero. When you guys caught up yesterday, there were some comments, too.
Al's brother.
He's a front runner.
Listen, he picked winners yesterday.
Every time a loss, he just can't believe something happened. He's I can't believe that guy did that. I can't believe that guy did that.
That's my toughest part. It's like the Vikings had no business keeping that game that close. They miss a brutal field goal, which I think hit the wire. I don't know if you saw that online. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, we were covering that spread all day. And he comes in, I can't believe that happened. I'm like, really?
I know.
You can't believe the Browns blew a lead?
He can never believe when we lose. He can't believe it.
What a surprise.
He is
the Browns lost.
Yeah, he is truly flabbergasted when we lose. Yeah. But when we win, man, is he happy.
Unbelievable.
He is a happy, happy camper. All right. Well, we'll catch you tonight on the group chat. Good luck.
Can't wait.
Chiefs of the pick. Can't wait. Jags. I guess we're riding with the Jags, Al's brother. Connect with you soon. There he is, Luke Wilson. All right, the Leafs have officially announced their opening day roster. We'll tell you who made it, who didn't. We'll get to that next.
The disappointment of spring is a distant memory.
A humiliating 6-1 decision. Game 7.
The renewal of hope starts Wednesday. With the greatest rivalry in hockey.
Holy mackerel, what a shot!
Leafs, Canadians, the 108th season opener. Wednesday at 6 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The Leafs live here. Now, back to Overdrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
right, we'll get to something to chew on, brought to you by Boston Pizza. Walking out of the Dome the last couple of nights, that Boston Pizza on front patio was bumping.
Packed, eh?
Packed. Like, that was the amazing thing. Again, it's October, and it was patio season. Like, every patio was so full downtown. It was electric, and it was crazy. It was so amazing down there.
You know what I kept thinking, and it's such a dumb cliche, but we always say, like, it's hockey weather or whatever. Over the weekend, it was baseball weather.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it was. It felt like that. I had a buddy. Obviously, Steph and Quinn went to the game. A lot of our friends and family were down there and all that. My buddy called me 2 hours after the game and was like, "I'm still stuck in traffic." He's like, "This downtown is insane."
Oh man,
like,
getting out of there.
Yeah, Saturday in particular. Saturday night's so much different than a Sunday night.
Right.
Obviously, but there's just so many people down there. And the Argos were playing on Saturday, and there was concerts going on. Yeah, it's nonstop. It was a great environment. So the Leafs obviously start on Wednesday. There's a chance you got Game 4 of the Jays Yankees and Leafs Habs on Wednesday night, and they have released their roster for opening night. Easton Cowan is not on it, so I guess that means he won't play opening night, or.
No.
Can they still send him down and then bring him up?
Yes.
Because of waivers and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think that's a paper transaction.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Wednesday he can be called up, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was, Quillen, nice player and all that. I don't think he's the guy. Like, I think they had to, ice their team today by, 1 o'clock or whatever, and then submit it. But I was told in, a couple different cities, you'll see this guy on the roster, but really because of paper, this guy's going to come up and all of that. So I think Cowan's on the team. I think he's made the team.
But do you think he's going to play opening night, Jamie? Because it's a weird situation where you're like, everything's so positive and the coach is pumping your tires, and then you're there.
I think he's. I mean, again, I don't know the semantics of when they can call him up and that, but I believe he's made the team. They just had to paper it to send him down. But don't quote me on that because, again, there's CBA stuff involved, caps.
Right. But let's assume that's the case. But if he, saying at practice today, he was the 13th forward. So even if he gets called up and he's on the team, is he going to play? They're not dressing.
He's got to make a big jump in the next 24 hours to get on that roster to play.
Yeah, which is a bit surprising that Nick Robertson, as of today at skate, Robertson is on a line. Like, all of a sudden up the middle, you got Matthews, Tavares, Domi, Waugh.
By the way, Hayes, not long ago we were talking about what Max Domi had to do on right wing with Austin Matthews.
And exactly, opening night, he's not even going to play.
Yeah, now he's a third-line center.
Right.
Well, the injury to Lawton might have jammed some things up too, right? Keep that in mind. Like, Lawton, is he going to go on LTIR, all of that? But, if Lawton was available to you, maybe Domi still gets a look on that right side.
Well,
maybe
I think he would.
Things,
but,
right?
again, it's more so I look at it like Cowan may not be playing because Robertson and Calle Yarncroke are playing, all of a sudden, where they haven't really been a part of the process throughout the last couple of weeks. And now all of a sudden they are there. Again, he's young. He's got a long career ahead of himself. It's not the Easton Cowan show. It's Leafs Habs Wednesday night. Yep. And even if he were to play, he's not going to play a ton of minutes. But it is somewhat intriguing that Berube's changed some things up. And you look at their preseason wasn't overly impressive. It was just matter of fact. They just kind of got through. Yeah. Nothing happened. Nothing really happened. And even, again, today, James Reimer has been released. That was the biggest story, that they signed Reimer to a PTO based on nostalgia and the fact that he had, been a big part of their history. And he gets let go today for Caden Primo. So Primo's here. Sammy Blais has been picked up. We'll see if he plays because he was there in 19. He was a big part of that Blues team in 19.
I used to like that guy. I'm not sure about 2025, but in 19. He was a physical guy. He could score the odd goal. He was just a good player where you looked at him, he was noticeable, and you're like, that guy's a contributor, a competitor, blah, blah, blah. What he brings to the table now remains to be seen, but obviously Chief had him. So
I watched him play the other night. He played for Montreal the other night. He's a physical guy, straight up and down. It sounds weird, but they've added another guy that is kind of in that same mold. The Dakota Joshua, Blais, big winger, can be physical. I don't know if he's overly skilled, but I think he's, this guy's 6'2", 205, and he plays a physical game. I don't know if they just add him for depth and maybe they can get him to the minors or not. Who knows? But right now he has to be on the roster. They grabbed him. So to grab him off waivers, he has to stay up, right?
Yeah, and he may not play. He may be the 13th forward and not be the guy that ends up playing. And you can hold, you can carry, 23 total. I don't know if they'll do that, again, because of cap issues. But, yeah, I mean, now we're through. Like, outside of Lawton, which is a big hit, but outside of Lawton, and I guess Joseph Woll, which is not an injury. It's just Woll's not playing. Like, Woll,
not here.
He's not here, and no one knows what's going to happen. And the fact that they're picking up Primo and they're trying out Reimer would suggest to me you kind of got a brace for this guy not being around the team for a while.
Yeah, it's a big story because this was one of the best tandems, if not the best tandem in the league last year, right, with both of those guys. And Joseph Woll not being available to him. Yes, Anthony Stolart's still available and is going to be your number one. But, Stolarz hasn't been a one. He's been a good tandem guy. Now this is your
he kind of has to be now, Jamie, doesn't he? Like, how are they going to handle that rotation now for a guy that's basically – because everybody calls him and Woll, which they were, a tandem goaltending unit. So that's not going to be the situation. So is Stolarz just forced into be playing a lot more hockey, and it's like do it or don't, sink or swim?
Yeah, I think so, because Caden Primo is a guy that I think they played him too early in Montreal. He was a little bit overwhelmed, but he's like 26 years old now. He's not like this 19-year-old kid or 20-year-old kid they were trying to force feed in Montreal as the next Carey Price. I've liked him. Obviously, the bloodlines, the Primos and great people and all of that. Like, I've always been pulling for him, but he hasn't had a tremendous amount of success in Montreal. Now, keep in mind, he went through the rebuild, and he was a kid there, right? So it's a different team you're going to play behind, but is he stepping right in and he's your backup? Like,
well, I don't know. Hildeby's looked pretty good. Hilderby, I think, has had a good camp, like, for the most part. And I guess it'll come down to numbers and who they feel that you can keep or what have you. And, in terms of the waiver wire, the Leafs would have been pretty far down the list. So there were teams in the league that chose not to claim Primo, but the Leafs got him in. The same thing for Sammy Blais. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, in terms of the size of this team. We talked a lot about it last week. Like, they're not a fast team. They're an older, slower team. And they have some bite, but not a ton of bite. And you look at this Florida-Tampa stuff that continued over the weekend.
Oh, my God.
And it's kind of crazy. Like, those two teams hate each other, and they obviously feel they have reasons for why they're going to go at guys.
But Slapshot hate each other? I didn't know it was going to go Slapshot hate each other.
They called out, like, that's Scott Sabrin. I think he went out there without a stick in the one shift. He just, was chasing around.
Dude, I think they had to take a goal away or something because the guy that was assisted on it wasn't even –
They did.
It was
the eighth goal.
Yeah.
The eighth goal they took away because he was supposed to be, out of the game in the penalty box or something.
Mikkola was supposed to get, look
at this guy running around just destroying
that's Scott Sabrin. That's the guy that Matthews said – who are you?
Yeah, he was a Leaf for a little bit.
He was a Leaf for a minute or two. But
this is a 90s junior play. Like, remember that lunatic in Windsor that was chasing people around and he got kicked out of the league forever? What was his name?
Every league has one of those guys.
Oh, there was a guy who was in Windsor, and he started skating around, and he was shooting guys, was chasing people around. Look that up, Doogie. This was before Doogie was even born.
It wasn't LaForge, was it?
Windsor Spitfires got kicked out of the...
No, it wasn't LaForge. Yes, he played in Windsor. I'm almost 99% sure he played in Windsor. The name's right on the tip of my tongue. Okay. We'll look it up.
I would have known it. My brother played in Windsor.
He got kicked out. He got banned for life. Like he
really?
I believe he got kicked out of the CHL because it was so crazy what this guy did.
Really?
And that kind of had a Sabrin vibe to it. And, this, again, is in a reaction to the Hagel hit on Barkov last year in the first round that I thought Ekblad got retribution on because he threw that, vicious elbow on Hagel. And
but
got
why is it
suspended
still alive like this, though?
Ask A.J. Greer, because Greer decided, I'm going at Hagel again. Right. And then naturally Tampa is like, well, this is the way it's going to go. And, this is how Florida plays. No one is going to shed a tear for Florida. Nobody's going to shed a tear. But we talked about it last year. Like, if they got a Broad Street Bully vibe, how does the rest of the league react? And I look at the Leafs, and if Tampa and Florida's like, we got to get retribution, don't the Leafs, based on that code, have to get it on Bennett? Like, don't you have to in some capacity? I'm not saying cheap shots or craziness, but doesn't someone have to go up to him and say, hey, you knocked out our goalie, and if we did that to you, you'd come at us? Like 100%. If a player on the Leafs knocked out Bobrovsky, that player would be in big trouble. It's just a fact.
We've talked about it for years, Hayes, about how the Leafs, I don't know if can you ever imagine the Leafs getting involved in what's
not with their best players, for sure.
Because we saw that one situation in Tampa where it was Stamkos, Point, Kucherov. They all just dropped their gloves and said, we've got a line brawl. Wow. And the Leaf players were like, we're not doing the line brawl. So if it's not like Jake McCabe that's going to go after Sam, who's actually, or
maybe
Max
Domi. The Leafs could sign Jeff Kugel. Is that
Jeff Kugel? That was his name. Jeff Kugel.
Dude, I played in the 90s in the O. I don't ever remember.
You don't remember that guy?
It's apparently.
I would have remembered.
Dude, he played in Windsor in 97, 98 through 99, 2000. You were already in the NHL.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of the CHL. He was 6'7", 265. And it's I guess we could find the video. It'd be out there.
I'm watching
one of the
right
crazier
now.
things you've ever seen in your life.
Like he did something during a game, running around with
dude, crazy. He starts chasing guys, and guys start turtling, and he starts throwing bombs, and he's throwing his helmet off, and he's doing the guns, and like the refs are chasing him around. Refs couldn't do anything. He was 6'7", 265.
We have to play this video. Like it's slapshot. The refs are chasing him around. You're right. Like I played in the era. Again, I'm a generation ahead of you guys with a guy named Link Gates. Mm-hmm. Link Gates was my teammate for a little bit in Spokane. We had a brawl in Kamloops one night. He had a broken hand and a cast on his hand, so he was just running around suckering people with his glove on and like knocking them out with the cast.
Yeah. Now maybe Kugel got let back into the league because I'm looking at it, and he ended up playing in the Sioux for a couple of games. Wow. So maybe he filed.
They decided to give him another shot. And he said, "Watch this, I'll show you."
Maybe he filed a grievance.
I don't know, but
and they accepted it.
I will say there was
Jeff
kind of a
Kugel.
You guys, I don't know if you saw this last week, but Ottawa made that little move there. It was like, okay, we're gonna
McDermott.
Yeah, we're going to bring in Harry and the Hendersons. This guy is a monster.
McDermott is tough as nails. He's one of the 4 or 5 toughest guys in the league. But that's the question, though, Noodles. I guess what I'm driving at is, like, the Leafs, just getting one guy doesn't do it. Here's Kugel up on TV.
Watch him skate here, though. He's chasing people around. This is crazy.
So I don't know which one he is.
No, watch here. There.
Oh, he comes on the ice. Is that him?
That's not a Spitfire.
That's not Kugel.
No. That's got to be him if he's 6'7".
Yeah, we can't go through this whole tape because I don't know where. That might be it. This is it. Watch him. Now
he's come off the bench.
And he starts throwing guns around and the elbows out. Look at this guy. He's like, I'm out of here, dude. And he's shooting his guns, and he's at center ice. Like, it's crazy. This was a huge story. I remember that because I got to the O just after, and I'm like, what the hell is happening in this league?
You're questioning the league you're going to.
Right.
You're like, you would have been the guy all of us would have been skating away.
In the 5th row. I'd be climbing the glass if that guy was chasing me.
Oh, my God.
But, I remember that vividly because the guy took off, and he's in his own scrum, and he's like, Kugel's after me. I'm out of here, dude. See ya. But, the one tough guy, I don't think it does it against Florida because they got 18. Everyone dressed is in for the most part. Barkov's not. Reinhardt's not. You know, like there are guys that don't. But Bennett is. Kachuk is. You know, Mikkel is. Ekblad is. Everyone else is kind of like
Yesavage, their fourth line. They've got a bunch of gamers. You're right because it is team toughness. But I do look at. We'll say this. I look at this Leaf team. I do believe there is a lot more team toughness because there are guys that are. They're physically bigger. They may not be fighters, but if you got 5 in there and guys are handing out the stinky glove, they will be a tougher team. But how does that translate?
Imagine if this was the other way around with the Bennett-Stolar situation, like lose the series and you took the goaltender out. Like either Tampa or Florida, they would have tortured that guy for the whole entire season, man. The whole entire season would have made that guy's life miserable if somebody did that and took their goaltender out. It would have been it would have been crazy what they did to that guy.
Yeah, if they knocked Bob out, exactly, and then it's the team stormed back and won the series with Bob out. It would be like, all right, we have one plan, and it's this guy.
We're gonna make
whoever can take
miserable.
a 5-minute major first on the guy's teeth with your stick, cross-check. Go ahead, you're fully allowed. We don't care.
Yeah,
take the suspension.
And this is the team that's won 2 straight cups. We're talking about, not some sideshow team with 68 points that's embarrassing, and that's the thing. Like, they're the pace car, and everything they represent is what the rest of the league has got to be thinking about constantly. And you can't fall into the trap of trying to be them. You're not them. You're not them. But Tampa kind of is trying to do that. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know if it'll work. But Tampa has decided we're not doing it. We're not.
You're
and
right.
Tampa kind of established that first. Sorry, Noodles, but
go ahead.
Remember when they won their cups? It was Stamkos's fight. Remember he tried to fight Matthews, and Kucherov was in there dropping the glove. They kind of did it first, and then Florida said, we got to do that too.
Well, they went and got that whole third line and realized that they were a little too soft after they got smoked by Columbus 4 straight, and then they brought in, Barkley, Goudreau, and
Yanni Coulthard and Coleman.
Yeah, that whole third line, and then that's when they realized that they had to completely go about things differently.
The thing is, too, guys, though, these two organizations hate each other, and there's deep-rooted blood here. I don't think it's one particular incident that has set it off. It's they've played each other in the playoffs. They've had these wild, crazy, this is the Battle of Florida. We talk about it in New York, the Battle of New York, the Battle of Alberta, the Battle of Ontario. This is just peak bad blood right now, and it's almost known. You step in that dressing room, it's like you're in one tonight. We're playing these guys. You're in one tonight, and I've been in those battles, at least witnessed them, and been in those New York battles, been in that Battle of Alberta. We've witnessed. Now, you guys, Hayes, you grew up watching that Battle of Ontario. Travis Green going into the
nasty,
bench.
Man.
It was nasty, and I felt like if you stepped into the Leaf dressing room from an outside and you're playing Ottawa, you instantly hated that team. You're like, I'm on board here. All hell might break loose tonight.
Yeah.
That's where those two organizations are at right now. But the crazy part is they're both really good teams. They're not bottom feeders.
Uber talent, cup contenders.
Right.
It's going to be a wild scene, those games.
It's got to be weird for the friends. Let's not kid ourselves. Some of the guys on Florida and Tampa, they're buddies. They text. Those conversations must be awfully weird.
Well,
hey man, you want to go for dinner the night before the game, knowing that your team is brawling their team? That's got to be weird.
No kid. Verhaeghe won a cup, I believe, with Tampa, then went to Florida.
Yes,
he was definitely a Lightning. I think he was there with the Cup years. Yeah. So, man. My buddy just sent a text. We got to corroborate this, but he's claiming Cougar was chasing Avery. That's who he was chasing, was Sean Avery. Or Avery was on the ice at a minimum, and he was trying to get to Avery. I don't know if he was that guy or if he was just out there, because Avery was very.
Well, let's not pretend
he was on the ice.
It had to be that particular night. He could have had a few gong shows.
Well, that's very true.
I was going to say, and here, Sean Sinclair sent me a note going, Glansberg had Kugel on off the record afterwards. That's how big of a story
it was. Massive story, dude. You guys were in the States and in the NHL.
I don't remember this guy ever.
It was huge.
I can't believe I never got word of this cat.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Kugel.
We got to have a Jeff Kugel award or something.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
The Kugel of the night.
What does the shooting gun signify?
I'm here.
Gunslinger. Let's do this.
Who wants a piece? And I love how the ref is kind of following him, but he's like, what am I going to do to this guy? What am I possibly going to do to Jeff Kugel? He's the number one trend on Hockey DB right now. And the stats are not. He had one goal and one assist in Windsor.
In 8,000 minutes.
Yeah, Jeff Kugel. All right, something to chew on. We'll come back with that. Best bets as well. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.
Tonight on TSN 1050, the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
never gotten so many messages about one character that played in the O.
I know.
I swear. 20 saying Kugel, Windsor, 97. And then just something pops up where this guy went into extreme cage match MMA fighting.
MMA fighting Butterbean, and I believe laying a beating on him. Remember Butterbean back in the day? I'm telling you, man, Kugel was the biggest story in the country. Yeah, it was the biggest story in the country. Jeff Kugel. And what the OHL is supposed to do, and how do you get rid of this? And he's 6'7", and he's chasing guys around. And he's doing the guns at center ice, and he came off the bench. It's another thing. Like, he came off the bench, threw a massive sucker punch right off the gate.
So what you hear in the league was it where they just said you're not coming back to the CHL ever?
Well, I guess it turned into a 25-game suspension. I thought he got suspended for life. Like, I thought the original ruling was you're out, and then maybe he sued the league, or he asked for some sort of probation on that. I don't know, but he's from Roseville, Michigan, 6'7", 265, and just a giant. Jeff Kugel. Yeah, we got to remember that name. Here he is, Kugel and Butterbean. I think he won that fight too.
Jeez.
All right. Something to chew on brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. Enjoy $15 lunch at BP where you get an entree, a side, and a drink, and you'll get it all in 20 minutes or less. A fast lunch doesn't have to be fast food. See you for a $15 fast lunch at your local Boston Pizza. Asking all day, what was the more memorable moment in the ALDS this weekend? What will we remember in the future? The performance by Trey Yesavage or Vladdy's Grand Slam? What do you think we're going to remember more 10 years from now?
Vladdy.
I think it's Vladdy too because of the visual of Vladdy.
Yes, it should be Yesavage, but that's the 11 Ks and all that.
Yep.
With Vladdy, it's one sound bite, it's one visual. Mm-hmm. It's the bat flip. It's almost like the Bautista. That's what's going to be the visual for me. I don't know. Oh, what do you think?
It's hard to go against the kid with the 11 Ks, man. I mean, I know this whole. You should hear I think there's a New york version of when he just says, "Yeah, it's a grand slam."
Grand slam. Yeah. Dave Sims with the call. It was incredible.
As soon as it went off the bat, he was just beside himself.
Well, you could see it.
But that pitching performance, I don't know. That's one swing where he's supposed to do that, and it's an incredible moment. But that pitching performance by that kid, man, that is something special.
It really is. And I think Yesavage could be the answer if he turns into a star and sticks around forever.
If you don't see him in 3 years, you're like, that was just a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
But it seems disrespectful to just say one homer over that performance is the bigger moment because it was just so good.
Yeah.
He was striking out everyone.
With ruthless stuff and making them look like it was like mocking the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy, the pitches they were chasing and how confused they were.
Yeah.
They had that Scrabble face going the whole game. They'd go into the dugout and get that iPad and be like, what the hell was that?
Even Judge.
Yes. Yeah. Even Judge. Even Aaron Judge went down on strikes to Trey Yesavage. It was just an incredible weekend. And we'll see what they've got in store. Game 3 tomorrow night. What a night for Shane Bieber and the Jays. Yankee Stadium tomorrow. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. I'm riding with Owen Wilson tonight, laying the points on the Chiefs.
All right.
On the Chiefs, I'm on Mahomes, 2+ touchdowns thrown tonight. That's your parlay. Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same-game parlays are now available for every NFL game on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly. 18+, physically located in Ontario. Have you guys been listening to the new Taylor Swift album? I'm sure it's all over your house like mine.
I was forced to. But, I mean, not really.
Everywhere.
There was like a viewing party Saturday night or Friday night. Luckily, I was out of town. So they had a viewing party because they went to the Cineplex and watched it. I don't know what the hell they were doing at the Cineplex, but they watched it or whatever. But
how much different is it than the other stuff?
I'm not picking up on a huge difference. I don't know. I was listening to it all weekend.
Tease my daughter that there's a song where she's crying in it and all that. But who knows what? She's got good music. She's a superstar.
Yeah,
so good on her.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. All right. We got to find another Jeff Kugel reference tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
That's our job. That's our job
is.
tomorrow.
And highlights. A full highlight pack of Kugel.
If
Kugel
there is
such a
breakdown.
thing.
A full breakdown of Kugel tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. Good stuff to everyone behind the scenes. Thank you for helping out. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube, live on TSN's YouTube channel. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Kugel Fest, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.